Welcome back to All Things MSP Live. This is the pre-show where I pour myself a drink. I just ran up the stairs because I forgot to go make the drink, and the bar up here didn't have the stuff to make, what I needed to. So right now I'm going to check and see where we are in terms of going live to all the different places. Looks like YouTube is good. Let's see, close an extra window there. We are live on LinkedIn. And let's see, we are live. We are live on Facebook. There we go. And I did that in less than a minute. So we're good to go. What are we going to talk about now? We're going to talk about, I poured myself an old fashioned. Gotten better at that lately. Did I say I ran up the stairs? Yes, I ran up the stairs to get back to the studio on time to start this. And I think I was about 15 seconds late, but it was worth it. So tonight is a little bit different. We don't have a guest tonight. Tonight we are going to basically talk about all things MSP, what it is, why I started it. And yes, Keith, the drink looks lonely without a fine cigar. But I those are just not allowed in this house. I'm just saying. I love hanging out with you, and I love the smell of tobacco and but yeah, not in this house. But I'm sure we'll see each other soon, and you'll be smoking a cigar, so that'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to talk tonight about, and actually that's a really good point, Keith. Thank you for reminding me because I forgot to make sure that all the comments are working. Hello, Facebook. Let's see if that one works. Yep, that's working. I have too many things on my desk here. Let me move some things. Hello, LinkedIn. Make sure I'm doing that on LinkedIn. Helps to do it in the right place. Yeah, Keith, not that you make comments often. Yeah. But we appreciate you being here and making comments because it adds to the discussion. And really, one of the things we want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about what this community means to me and kind of why I started it and where we're headed with it. Because we've kind of gotten to the point where there's some stuff that I want to do, and it's going to take a little bit more. And so we're going to talk about how everybody can get involved with that and how I'm setting it up to make it maybe a little bit different than the other communities. Not that there's anything wrong with those. In fact, I encourage, your participation in those because there are some great communities out there. But I wanted to do something different here. And so that's why I started this 5 years ago. All right. One less chat to check out here, and that is hello, YouTube. And if you are watching on any of these and want to let me know that you're watching, Degley's in the house. Thank you, Degley. I did have a good vacation. Hopefully, I only missed one live stream, and that was really due to some issues some technical issues that I couldn't get back to the house in time to do the live stream. And but the vacation was good, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the pre-recorded sessions that I scheduled for you. Those were a sample of the new office hours that we're doing. We're doing them. They're not just with vendors. Okay. They are with any subject matter expert who wants to share anything about the channel. We've had several people on the podcast that are not they're not part of the channel, but they have something to contribute, right? Because this channel, we lean towards the business side of things. And because of that, we bring in productivity experts. We brought in, somebody on physical health, somebody on mental health. All of those things are important when it comes to, I think, especially this business, because health, if you don't have your health, you can get yourself in some real trouble. And especially in the last couple of years, with mental health being what it is, and the cybersecurity and the incidents and the breaches, all of that has contributed to a mental health problem in this industry. All right, we've hit the triple zeros, so let's get this thing started. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of All Things MSP Live. Now, if you were here for the pre-show, you heard me talk about how this episode is going to be a little bit different. We really haven't gone into detail in the past as to why I started this channel, what my vision for this channel is, and what I want this channel to be going forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and we're going to talk about a little about what All Things MSP is. And of course, we have a lot of the characters, I love to call them, that are normally here. Keith Nelson is here. Degly Mendez is here. If I don't call you out, let me know that you're here in the comments so that I can see that you're here and so that I can give you a little bit of shout out. Because like I was talking about in the beginning, this All Things MSP, I created because I saw a need for a community of like-minded individuals, MSPs, people in this industry, who wanted to discuss the non-technical issues of our industry. So tonight we're going to dive into exactly what that means to me and how you guys can help drive this community forward, as well as, get other people involved, because that's an important part. And I'm going to go into some numbers here in a bit, just so that you guys get an idea of where we stand and where I think, we could be in the future. So if you have a drink, cheers to you. If you don't, I'll give you a second to go make one or pour yourself one. So Keith, congratulations. So I missed this fine young man becoming a grandfather, proud grandpa. So Keith, yes, I saw the pictures on, I forget if it was probably on Facebook, and yeah, congratulations. That is a milestone that I have not hit yet, and probably have a couple more years, hopefully, but we'll see, All right. So let's talk about what All Things MSP is. And I did kind of prepare some slides tonight because, at heart, I'm still an engineer. So I like slides, but hopefully they're a little entertaining at least. So what is All Things MSP? All Things MSP, I started about 5 years ago. Okay. And it was, like I said, I started it because I just saw this need for this community that was, that wanted to discuss the things around the non-technical side of being an MSP. Also, at the same time, my role was kind of changing at work, and I wasn't able to do the online content and the social media interaction that I kind of had been doing. And so I wanted a way to do that and contribute and give back. Because one of the things about All Things MSP that's important to me is that it's always been a way for me to give back to the community, because I feel very fortunate. For those of you who don't know my story, I started out as an MSP, well, really as break fix, because back then, 1992-ish, we did not have such a thing as managed services. So you were a break fix shop. Specifically, we were a break fix shop that also did networks. We also did website design, website hosting. That was actually our first foray into recurring revenue, was our website hosting. And so I learned very early on the power of recurring revenue that then kind of morphed into the services and the more traditional managed services that we see today. So back in 92, I just graduated from college, literally had just lost the job that I had in college, and decided, you know what, right now I can do this. I can start a business. I have clients that I've already been doing a little bit of work on the side, because the place I was working for, didn't do on-site work. So pretty much any on-site work that people wanted, they just gave to me to do in my free time. It was amazing. And so that was, how I started that first break fix business. And so I wanted to take all of that experience and all of the experience that I later gained being on the vendor side of the fence. And I can't believe I've been on the vendor side now for almost 10 years. In November this year, 2023, it will actually be 10 years that I've been on the vendor side of the channel. Now, on the vendor side, I got to speak to so many MSPs, and especially when I was, in the GFI Max days, we were talking to MSPs not about just how to use the RMM product or whatever it was, but we were talking about how to better run their business, how to make operational efficiencies, how to improve the usage of their tools. And it wasn't just, the technical side or the product demos or whatever, that kind of thing. We were hands-on helping MSPs, and I got to see so many different MSPs and so many different ways of doing things that I was like, this is a lot of knowledge. And I think that it's relevant for me to share it out in this community. And of course, one of the reasons why I wanted to make this a community was because it really wasn't about me. It was about everybody contributing. So that brings me to one of my first points, right? One of my first points is the way that you guys can help is that you guys can post in the communities, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. Now, Facebook, of course, if you're not aware, is the main place where the Facebook group, which is what I originally started, that's where that exists. And this is probably a great segue to kind of go into what are the different things that we do as all things MSP. So let me switch over to the slide deck there. And for this, well, first of all, okay, so I kind of did this as a little bit of a mission statement, but All Things MSP is a supportive community because that's what we're here for, right? We're here to support everybody, where MSPs can access content, advice, and valuable connections, because I believe that every connection that we have with each other, with the vendors, all of those are valuable, empowering them to optimize operations and achieve their goals. And this, is obviously so much more than the technical. It's the business. It's a little bit of the technical because operational efficiencies often blend into, the different profitability and things like that. So this is kind of what I want the feel of this community to be. Now, in terms of what is it? Well, like I said, we started out as a Facebook group. And the Facebook group's been like around 5 or 6 years. I actually couldn't find, I tried to look tonight when I was getting ready for this, a date, like a start date for the Facebook group. And I can't find it, but I know it was about 5 or 6 years ago. And, it's grown pretty well over the years, even though there have been times where I'll admit it was a little neglected. Not so anymore. I've gotten it to the point now where it's almost its own kind of monster, except I love doing this. So it's now more than my passion project, but I now have a little bit of accountability because, some of you actually say, hey, Eric, are you going to do a live stream this week? Because, you missed last week. So yes, we are working on being more consistent, especially with the live stream. The live stream is probably the hardest because it's not recorded, right? The podcast, we've actually been very consistent. We've been consistent for the past 6 months. We started it and we've done one every single week since then. And we just released our 27th episode this week. So the middle icon there on the screen represents the podcast. Podcast has done very well. Love doing the podcast. Of course, if you've listened, you know that show has a host, Justin Esgar, who runs Virtua Computers out of New Jersey. He's an MSP. And he wanted to do a podcast, and I thought it was a great idea. I wanted to do a podcast, and I really needed somebody else to come in and be the face of it. And so that's what Justin is. And I really do. Justin, hopefully you're watching this or you watch it at some later date. I really do appreciate all the work that you've done and what you've contributed to the podcast. All right, next we'll go to YouTube. YouTube started, I'm going to say it started about 3 years ago when I started getting into video more. And video content, as you know, has been growing by leaps and bounds. And it's really become important, especially from a marketing aspect. But I really kind of got bit by just the video, the technical part of it. Again, I'm an engineer. I like the technical pieces. And so learning how to use a camera, learning how to shoot video, learning how to edit video, that all became very interesting to me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I really wanted to share more content with the All Things MSP community through video. Started the video channel, and it has grown significantly, especially this year with the live streams, with the podcasts, with the office hours. Now, LinkedIn is something that we just recently started also this year. We're up to, I think the count as of today is 504 followers on LinkedIn, which is not a lot, but it's also probably the ancillary place because it's not where we actively have a lot of conversations. The Facebook group is more that arena. The LinkedIn is really so that people who don't do Facebook but want to keep track of what we're doing on LinkedIn, want to watch the live streams, want to be aware when we post new podcasts, all that kind of stuff, or when other things come up. That's why we started the LinkedIn page, and that's really worked out pretty well, in my opinion. And then Instagram's something we just recently started posting to. Not sure how that's going to turn out yet, but as with everything marketing, you need to test it. And I already had the account, so all I had to do was add it into Buffer. Buffer is what I use to post a lot of our scheduled social media. And so I just added it to Buffer, and now we're posting things there as well. And it is obviously attracting people to the group, so it's doing its job. And, we're going to talk more in later episodes of like office hours about how I do my marketing and how you guys can apply some of those things to your MSP businesses. All right, so that's kind of where All Things MSP lives. That's kind of the ecosystem that we exist within. Now, there's a component that's missing here that I'm hoping to change in the near future, and that is this doesn't represent anything in person. And for towards the end of 2023 into 2024, that's something that I'm hoping to change with the All Things MSP brand. Is hopefully you'll start seeing us live and in person at different events. Okay, so let's look at 2023 so far, because it's been a really good year. And what I mean by really good is I've had a lot of fun with this because primarily this is a passion project. Up until now, I have self-funded this entire thing, which I don't mind at all, because as hobbies go, it's actually not, it's not like owning a boat. Okay, let's just put it out there. It's not like owning a boat, which is basically a hole in the water that you pour money into. Anyway, in terms of some statistics though, we're up to 4,954 members in the Facebook group. 5,000 members has been a goal for a while. We've started to get really close to that. There's actually a chance that if you guys, everybody watching this, would, go out and refer a friend to the All Things MSP Facebook group, we might hit it by the end of the month, which I know I'm stretching here, but we typically get about 10 per day. So we're going to be close anyway. So even that 1 or 2 extra that you get would make a difference. And at 5,000, I just feel like it's one of those goals, and it kind of puts us on the map as being one of the, larger MSP specific Facebook groups. This is one that Justin and I are really, really proud of. The podcast, even though it's only 6 months old, has received over 3,000 listens so far. Now, not doing as well in terms of subscribers to the podcast, But the fact that it's been listened to 3,000 times in 6 months, I just can't thank you enough. I mean, it's just amazing to me that you guys appreciate this content enough to actually listen to it on a regular basis. And then we crossed the 1,000 threshold not that long ago, and we're already at 1,268. So again, a banner year for the YouTube channel, and so excited that this content, the live stream, the office hours, and by the way, the podcast is available both on all the podcast channels as well as on the YouTube channel. You can actually watch Justin and I do the podcast every week. Okay. And like I said, we've done a lot of new content this year. The office hours, the podcast, those are both brand new. We didn't even do them before 2023. Now, the live stream I did off and on. Actually, I started doing live streams almost like 4 years ago, I think. Like right after I started the YouTube channel. And then I kind of stopped for a while. And then last year we started up sporadically doing them. And now they're actually pretty regular. And because I've learned how to schedule podcasts, or not podcasts, but live streams while I'm on vacation, I can actually be gone for a week. I can queue up something and then you guys can watch it and I can provide valuable content that way. Now, what I'm going to try and do in the future is I'm actually going to try and pre-record original content so I'm not throwing just a rerun up on the channel, because you guys deserve better. All right. The other thing I wanted to say here, and I forgot at the beginning, is if you guys have any questions while we're going through all of this tonight, I appreciate your questions, and I'll probably answer them. All right. So what's next? The what's next slide is what's next. How convenient. So this is now we're going to kind of dive into where I want this channel to go and what we're going to be doing over the next couple of months. So we're going to be producing more educational content. And we're going to start with Marketing 101 for managed IT service providers, because this seems to be the most popular question when it comes to being an MSP, the non-technical side of being an MSP. Now, this is not going to be an exhaustive course on marketing for an MSP, but it will give you a good idea of where to start if you have a budget, or even if you don't have a budget. I'm going to give you just some pieces that if you put them together, start assembling a process for your marketing, you're going to start moving the needle when it comes to adding new clients. And for most of you, I know because I was there, adding just 1 or 2 clients a month is huge. I mean, there are some people on this call probably already that 1 or 2 more clients in your world, because you run your MSP very well, and you know who I'm talking to, is a huge number in terms of revenue. And even for a small MSP, just a small new customer every month, getting that extra recurring every month, it's amazing how that builds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay out a plan for you to be able to do that. Now, I'm going to be the first one to say, I can teach you everything I know about marketing. And it's not going to work unless you do something. The most important component of marketing is doing something. And that's one of the things I kind of want, and I'd actually ask that you guys think about this and provide me your feedback on this, because peer groups work, right? And peer groups work because of accountability. Now, I've stayed away from creating accountability groups because there are so many good ones already out there. So you guys tell me if you think there's room for something like an accountability group, something, and maybe it's not an accountability group, maybe it's accountability partners, so that you're only talking with one other person. I don't know. But I think there's probably a need, especially on the spectrum of smaller or just starting out MSPs who need somebody who's been doing it for a while. Kind of like a mentor-mentee relationship, but not quite the same because it's more about accountability than it is teaching the other person, right? Okay, so educational content is one of those things that I really want to dive into. This deck for Marketing 101 is about 75% finished. I plan to release this in either one office hours that's an hour long, or maybe several that are only 30 minutes long. It depends on how long the slide deck comes out. But I have ideas for this one. I have ideas for one that you can actually map out the customer journey. And I really think customer journey is a huge thing where, because we're in a service business primarily, because if you don't know how to treat your customers at every stage, it's just not a cohesive design for your business. And I think that there's a methodology, there's a framework that we can put together that builds a business unique to you, but gives you unique, discernible things to work on and be able to recognize where you need to work on things, because that's one of the biggest problems, right? We have so many things going on that we don't know where to start sometimes. And that's honestly, that's the purpose behind the Marketing 101 course, right? Is because most people don't know where to start. I want to make sure that everybody knows where to start and how to start well. Same thing with the customer journey. If you analyze the customer journey in the different stages and you say, I'm doing well here, I'm not doing well here, I'm doing well here, and you can rate those on a scale of 1 to 5, you know where the next place you need to work on is. And those are the kinds of things that we want to help you out with here at All Things MSP. So Keith I'm going to go ahead and pop this up. It's rather long, but I think it's important. Keith says, this is from left field. I would love to see or create in a group a marketing leveraging all the great resources we have. Tech Tribe, excellent resource. CompTIA, obviously you guys know that's a passion of mine. I've contributed to a lot of CompTIA resources there. ASCII, vendor marketing portals. There are so many great resources, and some of those are vendor resources, right? Keith mentions vendor marketing portals. And we can gather loads of great free or low cost content together. I'm not sure, but a methodology delivery system would be awesome. Yes. And it's that methodology idea, right, that I think is key. It's giving somebody a framework, right? It's kind of like giving them a fishing pole instead of giving them a fish, right? It's giving them the tool to work with rather than giving them a solution. Now, so Keith, yes, thank you very much for that. And I agree. I would also say that one of the vendors doing some of this, a little bit of what you're talking about, is Channel Program with their new Navistack. And if you haven't checked that out, we actually did an office hours with the Channel Program crew not that long ago on their new Navistack software or application and how it works. And so definitely should check that out. But yes, I want to be able to help point people to those types of resources. And I'm a member of Tech Tribe. I'm on the executive council for CompTIA, and I'm the chair of the MSP committee for CompTIA. So all of those different things, yes. And I would love to get ASCII involved. They're on my list of people to reach out to now that we're starting to move this thing a little bit forward in a kind of a more formal direction. Okay. So that's some of the educational content. And yes, I want to get as much content as we can, regardless of the source, right? This is not the Eric show. I'm here to be a conduit. I'm here because I like bringing people together and bringing people to content and connecting those things. But this is not about me. I'm not going to teach one way to do it and say this is the way to do it. I'm simply putting out there how I would do it and other things that I've learned from other people that I think will work as well. All right. So next, vendor partners. I really can't do this without vendor partners for two reasons. Number one, they are a key component to this community. They have a role in this community because they produce the tools and some of the services and things like that that we use in this industry. They also bring valuable information and education, right? The best vendors in this space are vendors that educate the community. And I want all vendors to participate in all things MSP. One of the things when I started putting together the more formal sponsorship program was I realized I didn't want to leave anybody out. And so vendors, if you're listening to this, you can actually become a partner without having to pay for a sponsorship. And you get a free office hours, you get a free announcement saying that you've become a partner, you get listed on our list of vendor partners, and you get to engage with the community. That's what it's about. It's about educating and engaging the community. And by the way, if you educate them, they're going to learn about your product. And if they have a need for your product, they're going to contact you. And like I said, the best vendors in this channel know how powerful education is. And those are the vendors that I really want to come alongside all things MSP and provide that educational content to the community for. Okay. So there's that. There's vendor partners. And vendor partners, again, you don't have to buy a sponsorship. You don't have to pay in order to be a vendor partner. Being a vendor partner is absolutely free. And there are some benefits that you get for that. Sponsorships. We do have sponsorships now. So you do have the opportunity to support the community in a larger way. And in exchange for that sponsorship, you get higher visibility within the community. That's what the sponsorships buy you, in addition to just you doing goodwill to support the community. I'm not drawing a salary from this, so that's not my purpose for doing it. My purpose for generating revenue is so that we can grow the group and so that all things MSP can reach out to more places and create more and better content. Now, as an MSP, how can you support all things MSP? Well, today I set up an All Threads, I think that's what it's called, All Threads, store where you can actually buy all things MSP merchandise. You can buy t-shirts, you can buy hoodies. This happens to be the men's page. There are women's t-shirts and, because the cut is different and everything as well. You can buy a mug, you can buy stickers, you can buy a puzzle. So that's available to you. Like I said, I'm doing this as a passion project. I would love extra support so we can do more things. So if, you're so inclined, I really would appreciate you guys. And I'll this will all be posted in the Facebook group and everywhere, because probably what I'll do is I'll just take the link to this video. I will post it as a social media post and include the links so that if you're a vendor, you can sign up to be a partner. If you're an MSP and you want to support the channel, you can go ahead and buy a t-shirt or a mug or a puzzle. It's really interesting, kind of the stuff they have. Now, I will say that going forward, we hope to create some more fun merchandise in here as well, just kind of to reflect the community, some of the struggles that we have. I already have an idea for a couple, especially along the realms of cybersecurity. Even though that's not a huge topic here at All Things MSP. And Degley, thank you. I know that you are a big supporter of the channel and appreciate everything that you do, all the way down to baking scones, because you're an amazing scone baker, as well as an amazing MSP and live stream guest, by the way. Degley was a live stream guest not that long ago. Okay, so why are we doing this? I've kind of weaved this in throughout the show tonight. Um, it's basically to do more. We want to attend industry events. We want to provide content from industry events because at industry events, we get the opportunity to interview lots of you in, in your environment, live, in person. It's much more fun that way. And so we want to attend those events because those events are important. And if we can recap those events for the people who can't go, that's even better. So we're looking to do that. That is something that we're hoping to do, even starting maybe this year with IT Nation. So look for us, hopefully beginning this year. Really hoping for next year, but it kind of, again, that depends on getting sponsorships, getting support from the community. To create more content, especially educational, the Marketing 101 series, all of the different things that you guys have asked about over the years. And, those kinds of things are what drive this channel, right? Because otherwise, if we don't provide value, then why are we even here? So I want to make sure that we're providing value to the community. And one of the ways I know that we can do that is through educational content, whether it comes from me or whether it comes from vendors, or like I said, I want MSPs who have experience in specific things to come forward and say, hey, Eric, I would love to spend 30 minutes on an office hours talking about this because I think I have a really good process or I have a really good whatever it is for this specific problem that I think other MSPs have also. And so that's one of the things I want to do. I'm really going to be focusing on, in fact, I'm probably going to be reaching out to those of you who are already on my list to, ask you if you have any of those ideas and see if there's anything that we might be able to collaborate on. And then building the community online and in person. That's really important to me, is to continue, driving that Facebook group past 5,000 members, past 6,000 members, to however many members need those resources, right? And the YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel, I love doing videos, if you couldn't tell by the live streams, and I just want to produce more and better quality videos as well. And then of course the in-person component. All right, now I do have a couple of comments that I'm going to put up. So Keith says, Tony Francisco tank tops. Tony's been a guest. Maybe he deserves a tank top. Yeah, we'll see about that. And Keith says, I'm not good looking enough to wear one. And then Keith adds, is experience code name for older than dirt? No. Although I did have somebody call me seasoned today. Like, is that just your way of trying to tell me that I'm old? Like, experienced I can get, because experienced doesn't take time necessarily. It takes actually hands-on doing the thing to get experience. But seasoned, I don't know, feels like I've been slow cooked over a flame or something. I don't know. But anyway, that is really kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. I think that is the last of my slides. Yes, it is. So let me switch back to the main view. And again, if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer those now if you want to, or, pop them in the group. That's good enough too. I knew that tonight was probably going to be a little bit shorter. That gives you plenty of time to head on over to Marvin B's podcast. He has Alex Farling and Wes Spencer on tonight, which should be a great show. I'm definitely tuning into that one. And like I said, community is important, and I don't expect you to just hang out here, because there are so many great resources all over this channel that you need to go look at, you need to explore. And there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of Facebook groups. So, and Uncle Marv is here in the comments. Yes, I just gave you a shout out, and I am looking forward to that show with Wes Spencer and Alex Farling tonight. So that should be a really good one. They've got some new stuff that they're doing. really exciting. So I'm looking forward to hear about that. Degley, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't know, you know, about the wisdom piece. I do what I can. I I guess I am seasoned a bit. I've been doing this since 1992 on both sides of the channel. So, just want to help where I can. Let's see. We've got Keith Nelson says, what is interesting about your direction is that from different groups and communities, I conclude there is no such thing as an MSP. It is really different. So many ways to skin this cat. Yes, sir. And if there's one regret that I have, it is originally calling this all things MSP, because MSP does not stand for anything concrete, anything well-defined in this industry. And we're going to be talking about that in the future, because I think that there is a valid exercise to talk about what the different types of IT service providers are that call themselves MSPs out there, and what you can do to optimize your business for the way that you want to operate. Because there are so many options for running an MSP, running an IT services business, running a consultancy, that you don't have to comply to one person's idea. And yes, I know, Keith, we've had this conversation many times. There are lots of people out there who tell people that their business model is wrong. And sir, we've had lots of conversations about your business, and anybody who says your business model is wrong has got to take it up with me, because I'm sorry, from where I'm standing, you're doing it right. So that's going to be it for me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is probably not, a hugely interesting topic, but I felt it was something that after this period of time kind of needed to be talked about. And I wanted to be transparent with the community about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And especially when it comes to going out and asking for money. I want people to understand why we're doing it, what we're doing it for. And I will say that as much as I love vendors and I think they have a lot to contribute, we're going to keep them under control. So just so you know. All right. Thanks very much. Have a great evening. Go watch more.